Hi there. Okay, so that was a lot of information. Yeah, just wanted to start with really the kind of the three ideas that Ruiz argues is that language planning and policy should really be heuristic, and that means that it should enable someone and people to discover and learn processes for themselves and learn language for themselves. Ruiz was a young professor, assistant professor, and he was the only faculty member that was really interested in language education and policy issues. And he realized that there was a need to really dive into this and to develop or even understand just the deficit of really resources available for language learners. So we have this idea of language as a problem, language as right, and language as resource. So through Ruiz's work, he's been able to offer new, empowering perspectives and just the positive aspects of individual societal multilingualism because he recognized that the deficit perspective on linguistic minorities, and he wanted to draw attention to the values that about language issues and policymaking, and that is from et al. Hornberger, 1990, page 24. So as we're diving into language as a problem, the whole orientation with that is it's kind of that monolinguistic assimilation mindset. This view sees that linguistic diversity as a threat to national unity, which is really, it's a valid argument. If you think about it, it's like, how can we accomplish unity? And this is such a hot topic if we have so many divided languages. And I know that this is an age-old question, but the view is that languages are a problem because it's seen as diversity and a disability. And that was Ruiz, 1984, page 21. So really with this whole language as a problem, it kind of comes down to that idea that things are best accomplished when there's agreed upon language. And again, it's so hard to really, it's really compelling because, there was another quote that I saw, by Ruiz, 1980, and it said, "Cultural diversity is one of America's greatest strengths. We could not suppress it if we would, and we should not suppress it if we could, but unity is also America's strength. And the ability of every citizen to communicate in our national language is the keystone of unity." So I think that's kind of like the main meat to that language as a problem. Now, language as a right, we see that as kind of every person's human right to really be able to have a language that they identify with because of that sociolinguistic identity. But even in language as right, we see how even when bilingual education is offered, it's a means to an end. The goal is still transitional, and the goal is often just to really develop that academic English. So even if there are language rights, it doesn't necessarily mean that there's equitable treatment. We see that in kind of an example in the reading where it said, language rights can be expansive or limited in scope, and that's Ruiz, 1984. And when they ratified the European Charter, for instance, they gave minority languages like Sweden recognized that Sami, Meänkieli, and Finnish are the territorial languages, whereas Rami and Yiddish were recognized as non-territorial. So it's like, where do you draw the line? I also want to just go into language as resource. This is really best stated by Holt and Hornberger, just stating that linguistic minority communities have linguistic expertise to contribute to societal multiculturalism, and it enhances academic achievement. I really do agree with language as a resource. I did have a Vietnamese conversation partner that came on asylum. He was a doctor, and coming here and having to be marginalized and being treated as a deficit because he didn't have that academic English, it was very painful and very difficult to see that. There's so much more I want to say, but yes, very good stuff.